Hello, and welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video I am going to attempt to answer a very important question: is the Fitbit Charge 6 any good when it comes to workout tracking? Now, workout tracking is quite a broad term because it depends on your personal fitness level, and the device is to help support you. After testing so many watches in the last year or so, I now have the knowledge to answer this question, so hopefully you can get the answers that you require. Anyway, if you are new to my channel, I always like to keep my videos and explanations short and easy to understand so that you can get the answers right away. With that said, let me show you how the Charge 6 can support you when it comes to workout tracking. Now, in terms of workout tracking ability, I thought that this visual is the most simplistic way to explain my point. After testing so many different smartwatches, I have found that the built-in features is what helps support you when you are tracking your workouts. I will go into detail later in this video. I did mention that tracking your workouts is a very broad term, and after testing the Charge 6, I do believe that the device can better support a person at a beginner level. If I was to create the ideal profile of someone that can get the best value out of the device, it will look like this. Now, the user profile may be very short, but it's a true reflection of what the Charge 6 can offer you. The Fitbit user interface is very simplistic and stripped back the scientific terms and replace it with easy-to-understand metrics. All you have to do is focus on being active. That is why I believe that the 3 bullet points shown is the most ideal profile. If this is you, then you are more than likely to get great value out of the device. However, whenever you buy something, you get the good with the bad, and here is what the less than ideal profile would look like. Now, based on the available features that the Charge 6 has, the device will not be able to support a person whose workout tracking involves any of the bullet points shown. Because of this, you will not get any value when buying the Charge. I do think that Fitbit's target niche is more towards a more holistic approach in being active and not so much high performance. So, if any of these bullet points are important to you, unfortunately the Charge 6 is not the device for you. Anyway, in terms of workout tracking ability, this is how I score the Fitbit Charge 6. And here it is. Like I said earlier, the Charge 6 is designed to suit a specific niche, and the final rating also supports the scale I presented at the start of the video as well. The ratings is based on the features that's available to you, therefore the Charge 6 deserves its rating of 5 out of 15. I will explain in detail later in the video. Anyway, in terms of the key discussion points of the video, here it all is. Discussion points 1, 2 and 3 is the main focus of the video, which supports my final rating. I think discussion point 4 will be of interest to anyone who want a more high-end workout tracking device. The rating table in here also has been reviewed the same way as the Charge 6. I will leave timestamps in the video in case you want to skip to specific points of the video. When it comes to tracking your workouts at a basic level, I do believe that the following list can help support you best. To me, at bare minimum, a smartwatch or fitness tracker should provide all of these features, and this is consistent with all of the devices that I have tested in the past year. So does the Charge 6 have all the features at basic level? Yes. After testing all of these features in the past week, they all seem to be very reliable, and as it should be. However, I did find some not so reliable, so it's important for you to know this before you decide to buy. Here are the features that I have found to be reliable. You can possibly rule out calorie counting and step counting because you have to allow some level of variance because the margin of error can cause an effect, but good enough. The only disappointment I found was connecting to third-party apps, but I will explain more later in the video. Anyway, here are some of the important features to note at basic level. I will share with you some of my experiences when using the device so you know what to expect. Now, when it comes to workout modes, I found that the Charge 6 offers a great variety. For example, you can choose workout modes such as dancing, CrossFit, strength training, yoga, outdoor activities, cardio training, martial arts, and so forth. All of the workout modes are stored onto the device, which is very handy because in the past you had to transfer workout modes from the Fitbit and can only store 5 modes onto the device. Only inconvenience is that you have to search through the workout modes, which can take some time. As a tip, I tend to use the same workout modes every time because the most recent workout mode will be saved at the top of the workout list. That way you can activate the tracking right away. As for heart tracking, accuracy is fairly reasonable. The final results won't be at the same level as a Bluetooth heart rate strap, but reasonable. Choosing the right workout mode can help, as the algorithm can compensate, but with static movement it's quite difficult for a device to track. Examples of exercises with static movement are boxing, swimming and weightlifting. Because your wrist is moving about every time can cause heart rate tracking errors. This is consistent with any smartwatch, so just be aware of that. HRV stands for heart rate variance, and this is a vital tool when measuring the activity stress on your body. There are 4 different zones, and for example, if you work out for long periods of time in the vigorous or peak zones, your recovery time will be much longer than doing a workout in the light to moderate zones. I will be explaining more about this later in the video, because this information is very useful. As for third-party apps, these additional applications can provide extra support. Now, the Charge 6 cannot control third-party apps directly off the watch, but the device can indirectly. This is where you share your tracking activity on the Fitbit app with a third-party app as a partnership. Recently, I did a GPS test using the Adidas Running and Strava, and unfortunately the tracking activity in the Fitbit app did not transfer. I like to use Adidas Running and Strava because it can provide a satellite image of my GPS activity, which is my own personal preference. Otherwise, the best calorie counter app on the market works very well. If you use MyFitnessPal quite often, the calorie tracking information synchronizes with the Fitbit app very well. With auto detection, this can be quite handy, and the device can start tracking without manual activation. The only downside is that it's only available to 5 workout modes only, which is walking, running, ellipse cycle, rowing and cycling. The other downside of this feature is that the algorithm needs time to authenticate the motion. 10 to 12 minutes is quite a lot of time that's unrecorded, so I thought this information may be handy in case you want to use it for yourself. That's all the details for basic level workout tracking. Let's now take a look at intermediate level tracking. When it comes to intermediate level workout tracking, these are the type of features that I believe will support the user at this level. It's not a long list like the basic level, but these features can provide fantastic support if that is needed. So, does the Charge 6 have all of the intermediate level features? Unfortunately, no. The Charge 6 only has 2 of the 5 intermediate level workout tracking. Based on the features that are available, did they perform reliably? Now, I have stripped away the features that was not available. I found the training load feature to be useful and the GPS tracking not so much, and I will quickly share with you my experiences when using each feature. So, let's begin with measuring your training load. The Charge 6 can provide this with the feature called Daily Readiness Score. It's a feature that draws all of the tracking information from your activity levels, heart rate variance and sleep. One of the great things about this feature is that it's great for beginners because it encourages good habits. If you can prioritize sleep and being active, eventually your score will consistently track and measure your training load. If the score is high, then your body is able to handle higher intensity activities. If the score is low, then you will need to prioritize recovery workouts such as walking or yoga. Although this feature is great for beginners, I have found that the feature can be inaccurate at times. What Daily Readiness Score does not account for is RPE, which stands for Rate of Perceived Exertion. RPE is a great way to evaluate how your body feels before you begin any activity, and a lot of intermediate to advanced fitness people use this rating to manage their training load. Polar and Garmin devices are the only devices that I have tested allows RPE scores to be accounted for and recalculated into the training load score. As for GPS tracking, my experience with the device wasn't the greatest. I don't recommend using full GPS mode as the GPS accuracy is way off, and you can burn up to 25% per hour on battery life, which is insane. I have found dynamic mode to be the most reliable, so make sure this mode is active when doing any GPS tracking. I have already created a video on GPS accuracy with the Charge 6. I will leave a link in the description so you can watch that video. Anyway, let's now take a look at the advanced level results. When it comes to tracking your workout activities at advanced level, the list that you see is what's to be expected at this level. These features support a person who focuses on improving performance or is preparing to compete. Unfortunately, the Charge 6 does not have any of these features and does not have the ability to support anyone at this level. Let's now take a look at where the Charge 6 is rated in the market. The table that you see have also been rated the same way as the Charge 6, and they are also devices that I physically own. As you can see, you have a range of devices along the scale. Fitbit tends to focus on a specific niche at the beginner level, which is why the score is very low. If you were to compare the Charge 6 against the top device that I have tested, the Polar Ignite 3 supports the advanced end of the workout tracking spectrum. The Huawei Band 7 is probably the most impressive on the list because the device costs less than half the price of the Charge 6, but it can also support the beginner and intermediate level. Anyway, on to the final conclusion. Now that we have reached the final part of the video, I hope that the information that I presented makes sense, and more importantly why I believe the Charge 6 sits very low on the scale. It's all about supporting you and what you prioritize when it comes to workout tracking, and that's what matters. But apart from that, the Charge 6 has some very useful tools to support anyone at beginner level. The biggest difference is the way Fitbit presents your workout tracking activity. All of the scientific jargon is stripped away and replaced with easy-to-understand milestones. All you really need to do is focus on being active, eat healthy, and improve sleep quality. If you are someone that won't pay for the premium subscription, the only feature you will be missing out on is Daily Readiness Score, which is a very useful feature to manage training load. For more information about smartwatches, please visit my website. Thank you for watching.